Shalom, my beautiful brothers and sisters in Yahuwah Elohim, and welcome to our Midweek Bible study. I hope y'all are having a good week. I hope your Pesach was awesome. And now we're in unleavened bread. So enjoy your unleavened bread. There's a couple of good recipes that I posted on the channel site. So you might go ahead and check them out there in the posts. There's one for unleavened bread, and then there's another one for unleavened pizza. And I tried the pizza crust for Pesach, and it is wonderful. Absolutely delicious. So you might want to try those. Those will help you out with some recipe ideas for unleavened bread. All right? All right, gang. Well, go ahead and grab your Bibles, and we'll get started this evening. Tonight we're going to be finishing our study in Shophetim, which is Judges. And we'll be doing chapters 19, 20, and 21 to finish off our study in Judges. Okay? All right. Now grab a drink and we'll get started. Alrighty then. Alright. Now gang, keep in mind that this is not in chronological order. This part of Judges is way back, right after the time of Yahshua's death. So it's not in chronological order, the last, 6 chapters of Judges. So just keep that in mind. Okay, this is when there was no one as sovereign in Israel. Okay, it's right after Yahshua's death. So everybody's kind of going astray. Alright? Alright. Give us a little background there. Okay, y'all ready? Let's go ahead and get started tonight. Shophetim, which is Judges, chapter 19. And it came to be in those days, when there was no sovereign in Israel, no king, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the further side of the mountains of Ephraim. And he took for himself a concubine from Bethlehem in Yehudah. And his concubine committed whoring against him, and went away from him to her father's house at Bethlehem in Yehudah, and was there 4 new moons of days. So she was whoring and took off back to her father's house. For 4 months. 4 new moons. 4 months. Verse 3. And her husband arose and went after her, to speak to her heart, and bring her back, having his servant and a couple of donkeys with him. And she brought him into her father's house. And the father of the young woman saw him, and he was glad to meet him. So her father was like, hey, nice to meet you. Come on in. You're my daughter's husband? Oh, wow, geez, come on in. Verse 4, and his father-in-law, the young woman's father, took hold of him, and he dwelt with him 3 days. And they ate and drank and spent the nights there. So they were getting along really good, and they were sitting around and they were eating and drinking and talking and having a good old time. Verse 5. And it came to be on the 4th day that they arose early in the morning, and he prepared to leave. But the young woman's father said to his son-in-law, refresh your heart with a piece of bread, and afterward go your way. So they sat down, and the 2 of them ate and drank together. And the young woman's father said to the man, please agree to stay all night, and let your heart be glad. So they're sitting around eating and drinking all day long and talking up a storm, and it got late, and he was like, just stay the night again. It's not a big deal. Verse 7, and when the man arose to go, his father-in-law urged him. So he spent the night there again. And he rose early in the morning on the 5th day. But the young woman's father said, please refresh your heart. So they delayed until afternoon, and both of them ate. And the man arose to go, he and his concubine and his servant. But his father-in-law, the young woman's father, said to him, see, the day is now drawing toward evening. please spend the night. See, the day is come to an end. Stay here, and let your heart be glad. And you shall rise early tomorrow for your journey, and you shall go to your tent." But the man would not stay that night, and he arose and left, and came to a place opposite Jebus, that is, Jerusalem. And with him were the 2 saddled donkeys, and his concubine with him. They were near Jebus, and the day was far spent. And the servant said to his master, "Come, please, and let us turn aside into the city of the Jebusites, to spend the night in it." And his master said to him, "Let us not turn aside here into the city of foreigners, who are not of the children of Israel, but we shall pass over to Geba." And he said to his servant, "Come, let us draw near to one of these places, and spend the night in Geba or in Ramah." And they passed over, and went their way. And the sun went down on them near Geba, which belongs to Benjamin. And they turned off there to go in to spend the night in Geba. So he went in, and sat down in the open square of the city. But no one would take them into his house to spend the night. But see, an old man came in from his work in the field at evening, who also was from the mountains of Ephraim, and he was sojourning in Geba, whereas the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he lifted up his eyes, he saw the traveler in the open square of the city. And the old man said, Where are you going, and where do you come from?" And he said to him, "We are passing over from Bethlehem in Yehuda to the other side of the mountains of Ephraim. I am from there, and I went to Bethlehem in Yehuda, and I am going to the house of Yahuwah, but there is no one taking me into his house. Yet there is both straw and fodder for our donkeys, and bread and wine for myself, and for your female servant, and for the young man who is with your servant. There is no lack of any matter." And the old man said, "Peace be with you. However, let all your needs be on me. Only do not spend the night in the open square." And he brought him into his house, and gave fodder to the donkeys, and they washed their feet, and ate and drank. They were making their hearts glad. And see, the men of the city, the sons of Belial, surrounded the house, beating on the door. And they spoke to the master of the house, the old man, saying, "Bring out the man who came into your house, so that we know him." Okay, remember back to Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, banging on the door saying that they wanted to know the angels. What does that mean? That they wanted to sodomize them, to rape them. They never learn, do they? Sexual deviance happens over and over and over. Well, let's see what happens this time. Verse 23, "But the man, the master of the house, went out to them and said to them, 'No, my brothers, I beg you, do no evil. Since this man has come into my house, do not do this folly. Look, here is my maiden daughter, and the man's concubine. Let me bring them out now, and humble them, and do with them what is good in your eyes. But do not do such a foolish matter to this man.'" So here again, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, when Lot offered up his virgin daughters to the men of Sodom in place of the angels. I don't understand why these guys keep offering up their daughters. Wow, I wouldn't. I'd be walking out there. Yeah, we'd be taking care of problems. I'll just say that. 12 gauge. Verse 25, "But the men would not listen to him. So the man took hold of his concubine and brought her out to them. And they knew her, and rolled themselves on her all night until morning, and let her go when the day began to break. And as morning appeared, the woman came back, and fell down at the door of the man's house where her master was, till it was light. And her master rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way, and saw his concubine fallen at the door of the house with her hands on the threshold. And he said to her, Rise up, and let us go. But there was no answer. Then he took her on the donkey, and the man rose and went to his place. She was dead. Verse 29. And he came into his house, and took a knife. Then he took hold of his concubine, and cut her up limb by limb into 12 pieces, and sent her throughout all the borders of Israel. So he took and cut her up in 12 pieces, 1 piece per tribe, and sent them out into the tribes. Verse 30, and it came to be that all who saw it said, There has never been, and there has not been seen like this, like the like of this, from the day that the children of Israel came up from the land of Mitzrayim until this day. Set your heart on it, take counsel, and speak up. Chapter 20. And all the children of Israel came out from Dan to Beersheba, and from the land of Gilead, and the congregation assembled as one man before Yahuwah at Mizpah. So everybody came out and assembled like they were just one man. There was a bunch of them. They just all came together. Nobody was disagreeing. They were all there at one accord. Verse 2, and the leaders of all the people, all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of Elohim, 400,000 foot soldiers who drew the sword. 400,000. Keep that in your mind, okay? That's a bunch of guys. Verse 3, and the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel had gone up to Mizpah. And the children of Israel said, Speak up, how did this evil come about? And the man, the Levite, husband of the woman who was murdered, answered and said, My concubine and I went into Geba, which belongs to Benjamin, to spend the night. And the masters of Geba rose against me, and surrounded the house at night because of me. They thought to kill me, but instead they humbled my concubine, and she died. Then I took my concubine, and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the land of the inheritance of Israel, because they committed wickedness and folly in Israel. Look, you are all children of Israel. Speak and give your counsel here. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think. Verse 8, and all the people rose as one man, saying, Let not one of us go to his tent, nor any of us turn back to his house. And now, this is what we will do to Geba. Go against it by lot. And we shall take 10 men out of every 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 out of every 1,000, and 1,000 out of every 10,000, to make food for the people to prepare for their going to Geba in Benjamin, for all the folly they did in Israel. And all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man, all on one accord. Verse 12, and the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, What is this evil that has come about among you? And now give us the men, the sons of Belial, who are in Geba, so that we put them to death, and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not listen to the voice of their brothers, the children of Israel. Remember when we were back there in Leviticus, how whenever there's evil, you got to get rid of it outside the gates? Yeah, stone till dead. Yeah, like I said, 12 gauge. Verse 14, so the children of Benjamin gathered together from their cities to Geba, to go to battle against the children of Israel. Benjamin wasn't having any of it, and they gathered everybody up, and they're going to war. they're going to stand up for these sodomites. Ugh. Yikes. Verse 15, and from their cities at that time, the children of Benjamin registered 26,000 men who drew the sword beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, who registered 700 chosen men. So 26,700 men against, what did we say here? 400,000. Okay? Kind of an unequal battle, don't you think? Yeah. Okay, hang on to your horses. Here we go. Verse 16, among all this people there were 700 chosen men who were left-handed. Each one could sling a stone at a hair's breadth and not miss. And beside Benjamin, the men of Israel registered 400,000 men who drew the sword. All of these were men of battle. And the children of Israel rose and went up to Bethel to ask of Elohim. And they said, who of us go up first to battle against the children of Benjamin? And Yahuwah said, Yehuda first. Okay, so remember, Yahuwah, they're supposed to be the big bad dudes, okay? They're the ones that they're going to send in first. They're hoping they're going to clean house and nobody else is going to have to deal with this. Verse 19, and the children of Israel rose in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in battle array to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came out of Gibeah, and on that day cut down to the ground 22,000 men of Israel. 22,000. That's a chunk of the people, isn't it? Verse 22, but the people, the men of Israel, strengthened themselves and again formed the battle line at the place where they had put themselves in array on the first day. So this is the second day. Verse 23, and the children of Israel went up and wept before Yahuwah until evening, and asked of Yahuwah, saying, should I again draw near for battle against the children of my brother Benjamin? And Yahuwah said, go up against him. And the children of Israel drew near to the children of Benjamin on the second day. And Benjamin went out against them from Gibeah on the second day, and cut down to the ground 18,000 more of the children of Israel. All these drew the sword. So 22,000 and 18,000, what, 40,000? That's quite a few guys. Verse 26, and all the children of Israel, even all the people, went up and came to Bethel and wept, and sat there before Yahuwah, and fasted that day until evening. And they offered ascending offering and peace offerings before Yahuwah. And the children of Israel asked of Yahuwah. The ark of the covenant of Elohim was there in those days. And Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, should I yet again go out to battle against the children of my brother Benjamin, or should I cease? And Yahuwah said, go up, for tomorrow I give them into your hand. Okay, here's the indicator that we're way back there right after the time that Joshua died, is because Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, is the high priest. So that tells you that it's right there about the same time that Joshua died. They're going off the rails and Joshua's just died. Jeez. Okay. Verse 29. And Israel set ambushers all around Gibeah, so they set ambushers around the city. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in battle array against Gibeah, as at other times. So they split their forces. One's getting ready for the ambush, and the other one's standing out in the field, with their swords in their hands. Verse 31, and the children of Benjamin came out to meet the people, drawn away from the city, and they began to strike some of the people, slaying, as at the other times, in the highways, of which one went up to Bethel, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. So they started cutting up the guys of Israel right away, got 30 of them. Verse 32, the children of Benjamin said, they are going to be smitten before us as previously. But the children of Israel said, let us flee and draw them away from the city to the highway. And all the men of Israel rose from their place and put themselves in battle array at Baal Tamar. And the ambush of Israel broke forth from their positions at Moriah Gebah. Okay, so the ambush sprung. And 10,000 chosen men from all Israel came against Gebah, and the battle was fierce, but they did not know that calamity was close to them. And Yahuwah smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed 25,100 men on that day in Benjamin. All these drew the sword. And the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, and the men of Israel had given ground to the Benjamites, because they trusted in the ambush that they had set against Gebah. And the ambush hurried and came against Gebah, and the ambush spread out and struck the entire city with the edge of the sword. And the appointed signal between the men of Israel and the ambush was that they would make a great cloud of smoke rise up from the city. So as soon as the ambush took over the city, they lit it on fire so that the smoke would tell all the guys out there that were fighting that they had the city. Verse 39, then the men of Israel would turn in battle, and Benjamin began to strike dead about 30 of the men of Israel. For they said, they are indeed smitten before us, as at the first battle. Then the cloud began to rise from the city in a column of smoke, and the Benjamites looked behind them and saw the entire city was going up in smoke to the heavens. And when the men of Israel turned back, the men of Benjamin were troubled, for they saw that calamity was close to them. And they turned their backs before the men of Israel toward the way of the wilderness. But the battle overtook them, while those who had come out of the cities were destroying them in their midst. So the guys came out of the city, the other guys that were already out there caught the Benjamites in between them. Okay, so they cut them off. Verse 43, then they surrounded the Benjamites and pursued them, and with ease trampled them down as far as the front of Gibeah toward the east, Gebah. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men. All of these were mighty men. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon. And they cut down 5,000 of them on the highways, and followed after them up to Gidom, and struck 2,000 of them. And all who fell of Benjamin that day were 25,000 men who drew the sword. All of these were mighty men. But 600 men turned and fled toward the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon. And they dwelt at the rock of Rimmon for 4 new moons, for 4 months. And the men of Israel turned back against the children of Benjamin, and struck them with the edge of the sword from every city, man and beast, all who were found. And they set fire to all the cities they came to. So they just took absolute revenge on them after that. Chapter 21. And the men of Israel had sworn an oath at Mizpah, saying, not one of us shall give his daughter to Benjamin as a wife. So the people came to Bethel, and sat there until evening before Elohim, and lifted up their voices, and wept bitterly, and said, O Yahuwah, Elohim of Yisrael, why has this come about in Yisrael, that today there should be one tribe missing in Yisrael? They're really feeling bad about the whole thing. Verse 4, and it came to be on the morrow that the people rose early and built a slaughter place there, and brought ascending offerings and peace offerings. And the children of Israel said, Who is there among all the tribes of Israel who did not come up with the assembly to Yahuwah? For they had made a great oath concerning anyone who had not come up to Yahuwah at Mizpah, saying, he shall certainly be put to death. So they're trying to figure out who it was that didn't show up. Verse 6, and the children of Israel were sorry for Benjamin their brother, and said, one tribe is cut off from Israel today. What do we do for wives for those who remain, seeing we have sworn by Yahuwah not to give them our daughters as wives? So they were making oaths without thinking about it, and they swore not to give their daughters to Benjamin for wives, and now they're trying to figure out how to try to restore that tribe. Verse 8, and they said, which one of the tribes of Israel did not come up to Mizpah to Yahuwah? And see, no one had come to the camp from Yabesh Gilead to the assembly. For when the people called a roll, see, not one of the inhabitants of Yabesh Gilead was there. And the congregation sent out their 12,000 of their bravest men, and commanded them, saying, go, and you shall strike the inhabitants of Yabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, even the women and the children. And this is what you do. Put under the ban every male and every woman who has known a man by lying with him. And they found among the inhabitants of Yabesh Gilead 400 young maidens who had not known a man, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. Then all the congregation sent, and spoke to the children of Benjamin, who were at the rock of Rimmon, and proclaimed peace to them. They're like, come on down, you guys, we got to settle this. We're all brothers, and enough fighting. We got to settle this. Verse 14, and Benjamin turned back at that time, and they gave them the women who they had saved alive from the women of Yabesh Gilead. But even so, there were not enough for them, and the people were sorry for Benjamin, because Yahuwah had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. And the elders of the congregation said, what do we do for wives for those who remain, since the women have been destroyed out of Benjamin? And they said, there is an inheritance for the survivors of Benjamin, and no tribe is to be destroyed from Israel. But we are unable to give them wives from our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn an oath, saying, cursed be the one who gives a wife to Benjamin. Yeah, now they're realizing that they kind of opened their mouths too soon. Verse 19, so they said, see, there is a yearly festival of Yahuwah in Shiloh, which is north of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goes up from Bethel to Shechem, and south of Lebona. And they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go, lie in wait in the vineyards, and watch, and see, when the daughters of Shiloh come out to perform their dances, then you shall come out from the vineyards, and every man catch a wife for himself from the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. So they kind of figured out this offhanded way of doing things. They didn't ask Yahuwah what he thought of it. They just did it. They're kind of being impulsive. Verse 22, and it shall be, when their fathers or their brothers come up to complain, that we shall say to them, favor us with them, because we did not take a wife for any of them in battle, neither have you given them to them. Make yourselves guilty of your oath. And the children of Benjamin did so, and they took enough wives for their number from those who danced, whom they caught. Then they went and returned to their inheritance, and they rebuilt the cities and dwelt in them. And the children of Israel went from there at that time, each one to his tribe and clan, and they went from there, each one to his inheritance. In those days there was no sovereign, no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. They didn't have a judge at that time. They didn't have anybody leading them. So everybody was just running amok. Yeah. And that ends our study in Shophetim. Okay? Our next study will be Shemuel Aleph, which means 1 Samuel. Okay? So be looking for that study on Shabbat. Alright? Alright. Well, there's some definite lessons to be learned there, isn't there? Without guidance, people just run amok. So we really need to have a relationship with the Most High. That way we're not just running around chasing our tail. Yah will give us guidance. Oh, and after all those years in the wilderness, jeez, didn't take them long to be corrupted, did it? Well, please, seek Yahuwah Elohim. Learn about Yahuwah. Read His Word. Learn as much as you can for knowledge and wisdom and guidance in our life. Speak to the Father. Pray continuously. You don't have to pray just once a day or just twice a day. Pray all day long. Keep Yahuwah between your frontlets, on your mind. Always. That helps keep us in line. Do you wear tzitzits, tzitziot on your belt? Those help too, because whenever you feel the tzitziot, then it reminds you of Yahuwah. Okay? Do these things to remind yourself so that you don't happen to go astray. In this world, it's very easy to get wrapped up in the worldly, and then we go astray. And then once we realize what we're doing, then we come back to Yahuwah. Let's try not to go astray. Don't be worldly. Stay out of the worldly affairs. It doesn't matter what they're doing. All this wickedness and this evil and this nastiness and the sodomites and the child molesters and all this garbage that needs to be taken outside the gates and stoned until dead is just running amok. And our pitiful government, yeah, nothing but wickedness. Everywhere. Everywhere. And idol worship. Everywhere. Stay out of it. Stay in the Word. Stay in prayer. Okay? Teach your children. They need to know. Protect your children. Protect your children from these perverts that the court systems protect and the governments protect. It's ridiculous. They all need to be stoned until dead. But we are in the tribulation because we're under judgment for the wickedness in this world. We are under judgment. And it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. So prepare yourselves and your family for what is coming as we proceed through the tribulation. Prepare yourselves. Stay in the Word. Stay in prayer. Teach your children. Be ready for when they come for us. Because they will. They're going to come for us. They're going to come for all of us who follow Yahuwah. Because they're going to try to promote a one world religion. And we're not part of it. Stand your ground. Do not be deceived. Alright, gang. That's all I've got for tonight. Yah bless each and every one of you that are seeking knowledge and wisdom in Him and His Word. Yahushua HaMashiach. Y'all have a good week. Enjoy your unleavened bread. There's a lot of recipes on YouTube for different kinds of unleavened bread. If you like it sweet, if you like it spicy, if you like it with lots of garlic, there's all different kinds of recipes. So if you're looking around for different recipes and stuff, when I find them, I'll go ahead and post the ones that I think are good. I'll try them first. And if they're good, then I'll post them. The pizza is fantastic. The crust, I don't know about the whole pizza itself, but the crust is wonderful. Really good crust. So, yeah, give it a try. I hope that helps y'all with your looking for ideas for dinners and stuff like that, because it's not real easy to find things that have no leaven in them. Because everything does. Everything has baking soda. Everything has baking powder. Everything has leaven. So you're going to have to make it yourself. Either that or go buy the matzo crackers. You ever had those? Yeah, they're like saltines without salt. Anyway, it's better if you make your own, and it's really simple. Most of them only have a couple of ingredients, flour and water and olive oil, and then add whatever else you want to it. All right, gang. Y'all have a great week. Observe the high holy days, okay? Because we have a high holy day today, and then there'll be a high holy day on the Sabbath, and then at the end of unleavened bread is also a high holy day, okay? No work, no servile work. Observe it as you would a Sabbath, okay? All right, we'll see y'all on the Sabbath. Y'all have a great week. Shalom.